Hey guys, Mrs.Roopa here. I wanted to come to you this week with some really cool history lessons. And we are going to start by taking a little time travel trip. And we're going to go back in history about a little over 400 years to a time when our country, which is the United States, wasn't the United States yet. Okay? So if you'll follow along, we're going to learn some really cool history facts. Okay, so during the time, it was about 1607, this is what the United States looked like, okay? This is it. So this is called the 13 colonies. So during that time, it was not called the United States. There weren't 50 states. During this time, there were only 13 and what's called colonies. So 13 colonies. And what a colony is it's owned by another country. So these places right here were owned by another country. Okay, and that country was the country of Britain. All right, so 13 colonies owned by Britain. Now, in these 13 colonies, there were two groups of people. Okay, these two groups of people were known as the Patriots and the Loyalists. Okay, so Patriots and Loyalists. Now, these two groups were very, very different. The Patriots did not like being controlled by Britain. They didn't like the rules that Britain sent. They didn't like the prices of the things that they had to buy. All those things were set by Britain, and the Patriots did not like it. So the main thing about the Patriots, they wanted to be free. They wanted to break away from Britain's rule and just be free. So remember that, because we're going to be talking about these guys later on in the week, okay? The next group is called the Loyalists. Now, what word do you see in Loyalists? You see the word loyal, okay? These people didn't really mind being under the British rule. And unfortunately, some of these people, some Loyalists, were like, you know, we just don't want to get in trouble. We'll deal with Britain, we'll deal with their rules, we'll deal with their prices on goods. We just want to stay out of trouble, okay? So they may not have exactly liked Britain, but they just didn't want to get in trouble, okay? So our two groups that we've learned about today are the Patriots and the Loyalists. Now, these two groups, there were many members in all of the 13 colonies. Okay, so all of the 13 colonies had them. I've printed out a picture so you can see kind of when the Patriots and the Loyalists actually went to war with each other, what they wore. And that's kind of why I put Patriots in blue and Loyalists in red. Their uniforms represented those colors. So we've got the Patriots in the blue and the Loyalists in the red, okay? So that is the information that I wanted to share with you guys today, just to kind of start us off on our little history journey. We are going to be going in depth into these two groups and how they kind of solved the problems that they had. Okay, so let's go back over and review what we've learned, because we need to know for the rest of the week. All right, so before the United States was the United States, it was known as the 13 colonies. What country owned the 13 colonies? Britain. That's right. Okay. So Britain, there were two groups within the 13 colonies. One was known as the Patriots. Think about it. Did they like the British rule? Not at all. Not even a little bit. They wanted to be free. Okay, the Loyalists, did they like the British rule? Yes. And remember, some of the Loyalists, they just didn't want to get in trouble. They didn't want to start anything. They were like, whatever, we're just going to leave this alone. We're just going to be under the British rule. Okay, so remember these two terms this week as we go on about our history lessons.